Mwalimu.
Watu wale fanya wewe.
Bakutisa abantu batyafe sife tubatya
Okay, thank you.
Because of some technicalities, this money has delayed. We have not yet accessed it, and that is why we have not yet paid for vaccines. But we have an assurance from Ministry of Finance that this money will be available and we shall duly pay for the vaccines. Right Honorable Speaker, Uganda targets to vaccinate 45 million people. 22 million people. Of the 22 million people, refugees are inclusive. We need about 45 million doses of the vaccines because each individual receives 2 doses. That means 49.6% of our population. Our donors through COVAX facility have communicated that they will be providing to Uganda 18 million doses. That therefore means that the government of Uganda has to procure 27 million doses. The total amount of money that we have sat down and calculated together with Ministry of Finance that is required for the vaccination program is $162 million US. Right Honorable Speaker, this August House has provided 5 million. All that we need has been calculated and discussed with Ministry of Finance, and we are waiting for a communication from Ministry of Finance on what to do. This includes as well the costs of deployment of the vaccines, from the national medical stores to the different districts up to the beneficiaries. On the issue of the Olympics, this is an international game, and the World Health Organization will guide accordingly. Lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, on the issue of the curfew, again, I humbly request that we wait for information from the National Task Force. I will definitely contribute during the discussions and give guidance accordingly. I take note, and I am well aware of the different sectors that are not yet opened and the challenges that they are facing. Indeed, if we can speed up the vaccination exercise, it will go a long way in facilitating us to open up those sectors. Right Honorable Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, let me permit Honourable Senator Mu to make a statement under Rule 54 of our Rules of Procedure.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And first of all, allow me, Madam Speaker, to convey my condolences to you for the loss of your daughter and to commend you for being strong in these very hard times. Madam Speaker and honorable members, I'm addressing this Parliament for the first time since the 14th January presidential elections, which were marred by massive rigging. The campaigns were filled with unprecedented levels of state-inspired violence and brutality, where very many of our supporters were murdered, many were maimed, while others sustained grave injuries. That happened before the election, during, and after the elections. Madam Speaker, I've given this background to speak to the danger that we face as a nation. Government institutions have been reduced to serving the interests of an individual instead of serving the people. This Parliament, therefore, Madam Speaker, has the opportunity to present its image and indeed to present itself to the people of Uganda as a Parliament that has the interests of the people of Uganda. Madam Speaker, as we comfortably sit in this august House, I want to remind all of us that Ugandans are being abducted on a daily basis by security operatives in notorious vans called drones. They are being held in unknown detention centers, in military barracks, and indeed in many unknown places, torture chambers across the country. Madam Speaker, just yesterday, a 24-year-old Chiwewa Tony, also known as Neto, who is our cameraman, and the NUP youth chairperson for Mosque Zone in Chibuli, Ewan Busonga Najib, were brutally abducted by heavily armed security men in plain clothes. The abductions were on camera, Madam Speaker. Those that have been lucky to come out alive, Madam Speaker, they have spoken of how they've been subjected to unspeakable torture and brutality while in detention. Some of our people have been castrated, Madam Speaker. Yes, they've been castrated. Others have had their eyes and fingernails plucked out. Their limbs have been broken, and they've been subjected to advanced forms of torture like waterboarding and electrocution. Madam Speaker, several of our female supporters have been raped in detention. Many of our other supporters, like Roger Semakula from Mukono District, have shown up dead, murdered by the state. Only yesterday, Madam Speaker, a man called Luca Fabian, who was kidnapped from Arua, badly tortured and dumped in Nakawa, passed away, and he will be buried in Arua tomorrow. We wonder, Madam Speaker, if we have a constitution in this country. What happened to the requirement to have arrested persons presented before the courts of law within 48 hours? What happened, Madam Speaker, to the prohibition against torture, which is a non-derogable right? Why are our civilians being tried in military courts? Why are they being charged in the absence of their lawyers and relatives, Madam Speaker? Today, it marks 71 days since my entire campaign team was arrested and imprisoned in Chitalia on bogus charges. And they are still being tried in military courts. After being granted bail, Madam Speaker, they were again rearrested by the military, taken through grave torture sessions, and we wonder why political prisoners, Madam Speaker, who are civilians, are being tried in military courts. General Museveni came out and acknowledged that it is indeed on his orders that these civilians, our supporters, have gone missing. I want to imagine, colleague members, that no matter what political party you support in this House, no matter what political persuasion you belong to, I want to believe that we'll all understand that the Constitution provides for the presumption of innocence before being proven guilty. President Museveni has therefore convicted our people and sentenced them to grave torture and long periods of detention without fair trial. So we wonder, Madam Speaker, how long this is going to continue while we are comfortably sitting here. Just last week, Madam Speaker, the Deputy President of NUP Central Region, Honorable Matthias Mpuga, laid before this House a list of 423 NUP supporters who were abducted and are still missing. The list has since grown, Madam Speaker. I once again, therefore, Madam Speaker, want to request this Parliament to order for the immediate release of the abducted people and all political prisoners. Ugandans are demanding that the security forces return our people, dead or alive. And they are also demanding that civilians should stop being tried in military courts. And secondly, Madam Speaker, I know that General Museveni might ignore this resolution if it is passed in this Parliament, just like he has ignored very many resolutions of this Parliament in the past. But at least let this Parliament go on record and be known to stand with the people of Uganda in very hard and humiliating times like this. Honorable members, it is in the interest of this Parliament to take lessons from our own history as Uganda, because this country has been in a similar situation before. In 1980, an election was rigged. It was rigged using the army and other security forces. President Museveni castigated the courts of law of that time, and he said they were being used by President Obote to give a semblance of legitimacy to the unpopular regime. Ugandans were disappearing and being kidnapped in what was called Pandagari then. Today, Madam Speaker and honorable members, in 2001, 40 years later, we are back to that point or even worse. We all know it. Even peaceful demonstrations are not allowed, they are criminalized. Peaceful demonstrators are being treated like armed rebels. So this Parliament, Madam Speaker, under you, can rise to the occasion and distinguish itself by standing with the people of Uganda. We have the opportunity to stand on the right side of history, Madam Speaker, because if this Parliament does not, then we shouldn't be surprised when the people of Uganda rise to the occasion and evoke Article 3 of this Constitution to restore constitutionalism. Madam Speaker, I am not sure how many more times I'll have the opportunity to address this Parliament as a member of Parliament. Hopefully the next time I address this Parliament, I'll be president. But I want to remind all of us, honorable members, that we can choose either to be seen as a Parliament that does not care about the people, or to be seen as a Parliament that is indeed elected into these positions to stand and protect the rights of our people. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Member. As far as your...
Check out the public. I'm going to the public. I don't want to speak for the public. It is not my call. It's a reminder to everybody about their rights. And check out the public. Kindly go to the people. Go to the people. Go where people are and check them out. You're going to see what they are saying. Yeah.
You have seen the public has come escorting the parliament. What does it mean?
Well, first of all, we appreciate. Journalists bakusalako basinga n'abapoliisi. Yes, please.
Yeah, in English.
Yeah, it's encouraging to know that people stand with us, but most importantly, as leaders, we must stand with the people and reflect what the people are saying. Yeah.
So, does this mean that the campaign has started?
The campaign?
Yeah, the peaceful protests.
Certainly, we called the people of Uganda to come out and protest in various ways, for as long as they are non-violent, for as long as everything they're doing is within the law. And we are glad that people have largely responded, despite of the security harassment. I mean, people are being beaten. I've been watching online journalists being rounded up for covering people, for interviewing people. We are living under an extremely terrified regime, an extremely nervous regime. But again, we are thankful to the people of Uganda that they are responding positively towards emancipating themselves.
After a positive day one, what message do you have to the public?
The public, the message remains the same. It is in your hands. The hope for your liberation is in your hands. We as the leaders can only show you the way and take a step towards that way. But ultimately, you have all the powers. Those rights were given to you by God and confirmed by the Constitution. So it's upon you. Come in, please. Some things are necessary, some things are unnecessary. So we don't need to ask police for a right to enjoy a right when that right is guaranteed by the Constitution. Yeah. Abantu okuvaayo ne batulaga essanyu tukyebaliza Katonda, nabo tubeebaza newankubadde bakikola mu bugubi, newankubadde kati kyafuuka musango okulaga Kyagulanyi obuwagizi oba okulabibwa ng'oli Munnayuganda naye ng'oyayanira eddembe lyo. So njagala nnyo okwebaza Bannayuganda abavaayo okulaga eddembe lyabwe era n'okubazaamu amaanyi nti eryo ddembe lyammwe, temuba na musango gwe mukoze, temuba na tteeka limmenye. Nyongera obbazaamu amaanyi n'okubakunga bannange yonna gye muli mu ngeri yonna yonna gye muba musobodde, kasita muba nga temumenya amateeka, kasita muba nga temuyiwa musaayi, muli baddembe okulaga obutali bumativu, kubanga Kawairo namba 29 akasemateeka katuwa eddembe eryo. Temutiisibwatiisibwa. Tukirabye nti ab'amagye n'abapoliisi beebulunguludde ebitundu ebirala byonna byonna bagaana abantu okulaga obutali bumativu. Mbalabyeko ne ku line nga bakwata bannamawulire n'okubakuba ekintu ekikyamu. Naye nyongera obbazaamu amaanyi n'okubajukiza Bannayuganda nti kiri eri mmwe okwetaasa, okwenunula. Tekiri ku bakulembeze ffeffeka, tekigenda kuba ku bitongole bya gavumenti bye mulabye nammwe nti byawambibwa byonna. Kiri eri mmwe nga Bannayuganda. Mukirabye abantu abaagala enkyukakyuka mu mawanga amalala bakikoze, ekitegeeza nammwe musobole okukikola. Bannayuganda twabaweereza ggulo omulanga. Tekiri erinze kupima Bannayuganda, ndi omu ku miliyoni 45 eza Bannayuganda. So njagala buli Munnayuganda yonna gyali atandika okwerabanga Kyagulanyi, atandika okwerabanga Nsamba, atandika okwerabanga abo bonna bonna abakozi ba gavumenti n'abatali bakozi ba gavumenti, kuba ffenna tulina eddembe lyerimu era bw'otoveeyo gwe ng'omuntu teri agenda kubeereramu. So Bannayuganda mwenna mwebereremu. Mwebale nnyo mwebale. Bannayuganda tebeetaaga lukusa okweyagalira mu ddembe lyabwe. Eri eddembe lyabaweebwa Ssemateeka, lyabaweebwa Katonda, ndirikakasibwa Ssemateeka. So temwetaaga lukusa lwonna kuva eri poliisi. Mwebale nnyo.
Please look this way.
Rasta tekiganyi.
Teri kigana. Kale bachaliwa. Ndoza ne betema.
Excuse.